So, kind of wanted to share how the mobility manual, the art of mobility, or whatever I'm going to call it, came to be. And it really, from age 5 to 35, probably age 5 to 38, I spent all of my effort, all of my creative genius that I had to create more explosive ability in myself. I don't know whether it came from being a little brother and always kind of being the smaller kid around, that I wanted to be powerful, or if it was just because of Michael Jordan and, watching something that was so inspiring and thinking that is so powerful. To be able to float through the air like that is pure happiness. And so, that obsession led me to strap up athletes, to try every protocol I could get my hands on, to read books, to commiserate with experts and of all kinds, until I personally achieved a very high level of explosive ability and created a system called the Jump Manual that I believe is the most effective way to systematically improve explosive power through a single movement. And that's what the Jump Manual is all about. That's what my obsession was about, and that's what I spent the unexpected success of the Jump Manual had me traveling all over the country, all over the world, over 70 different countries, 4 different languages, teaching people how to jump higher, and coaches how to train athletes how to jump higher. I was able to train athletes who became Sprite Slam Dunk champions and champions and professional athletes of all kinds. And things started to change. I went through a difficult, challenging, transformational time as I went through a divorce. And there were some challenges that I went through: physical stress, emotional stress, and found myself getting stiffer and sitting in front of a desk a lot, and realized that I was living with pain and suffering and anguish from that physical pain that I thought may never end. And so that's when I started to study just as obsessively how to move better, how to feel better. And it also compelled me to learn about mindfulness. And so this time my obsession wasn't just to accomplish something physically, although I suppose when I was learning how to jump higher, I was also conquering something emotional in my life. But this time, my happiness and my suffering and my ability to show up for my kids and my love were all on the line, so to speak. And so I was obsessively researching and training and trying. I'd learned so much about how to create power, how to get stronger, how to improve your physique. But now I was in a skill set and a practice that was completely the opposite, where slow, mindful movements got better results than fast, explosive movements. And the entire process of getting mobility gains is a completely different game. Completely different protocols, completely different connection to your mind when you're doing it. And not only was it counterintuitive, it was just plain difficult. And sometimes I'd find myself in the gym, and the next thing you know, I would be wanting to do explosive movements again, or wanting to train my physique, or do vanity movements, which I still like. So getting through the process of understanding what are the triggers to improve mobility, and really realizing that the path to mobility was actually a mindful path, and it was the connection to my body in the practice that I developed became an incredible source of peace and happiness for me, and it became something that is now more enjoyable to me than explosive vertical jump training was. And I developed a practice that is just something that I do. The byproduct of it is increased mobility, increased athletic ability, confidence. But the practice itself is something that is its own reward. And I think that is, for me, one of the most impressive things about where my practice has gone, where my training has gone. Because previously, when I was training to get a physique or a six-pack or bigger biceps or jump higher or become more explosive, once I reached a certain level, sometimes my training would say, well, where do I want to go from here? I'm kind of where I want to be physically. I didn't want to be a bodybuilder, but I liked where my physique was, and I didn't really want to get that much bigger or more muscular. And so I wasn't really sure what was the next place to go. The work that I do in mobility and mindfulness is something that I will do until the day I die. It's something that it will give me benefits in mobility and comfort in my body, but will also be a source of self-understanding and growth just by doing the process. And so for those of you who are going to be part of kind of the initial masterclass and training we're going to do with what I'm now calling the art of mobility, I don't know if I'm going to call it that. I'd like to stick with kind of the manual theme, like the mobility manual or something. I don't know. I'm open to any ideas you guys might have. But yeah, so for those of you who are going to be in this initial course, just realize that I have so much written down, and it was kind of the same process with the jump manual. I would write and research and practice, and I would write and research and practice, and then eventually it came down to exactly the protocol that I did, and I was able to kind of distill it into something that people could do systematically, and that I could assist in people doing systematically. This process the outcome's going to be a little different. At this point, I believe that the outcome I want for anyone who wants to participate in is to have your own practice, your own, where you know how you're going to do it, you know how long you're going to spend, and that it's yours, and that the way you explore your body and the way that you implement the tactics and skills that you're going to learn will be completely unique to your journey, and that this practice becomes something that you enjoy in and outside of the results that you're going to get from it. So that's my hope for you, and I would just appreciate anybody's feedback on other intentions that they might have for getting involved in the mobility manual. So if you have something else you'd like to achieve from it, obviously many of you have come and you're living with your own pain and anguish and or physical immobility, and you're hoping to change that. And obviously that is one of the key outcomes of doing this work. But outside of it, I just want to let you know that it's my intention that not only do you gain that, but this work gives you an insight above and beyond those physical benefits and those mental benefits, that it becomes something that is part of your physical, emotional, and possibly even spiritual growth. And so I'm excited. Excited is probably the wrong word. I'm going to share it with you, and I'm deeply connected to the work and the skills and tactics that I'm bringing you. I'm personally, from a feats of mobility perspective, I've not achieved all the feats of mobility that I hope to and will, but I do have a practice that gives me incremental growth. And in the end, massive transformation happens in imperceptible bits of growth. Just like the jump manual, if you could improve a 1/4 inch here, 1/2 inch here, and you could see that growth happening predictably and systematically, it was only a matter of time before you had made a complete transformation as an athlete. And that's what I hope you will start to see as well. Mobility work can be slow, and it can be similar to jump training in that you may find that it goes up and down, and the growth is, in the end, the growth is towards your goals, but it can go up and down. And so, I hope that you enjoy the work, and I hope that you dig into understanding some of the tactics are completely different than the tactics we use with jump manual. Some of the protocols we use to increase your range of motion are completely different. And so would love your feedback, would love any support you can provide me by way of how you think I can improve this, so that when I finally do have a final product, I would love your feedback. So just want to share this with you. I know that I had some setbacks on when I wanted to make this available, and I broke my hand and it set me back. I also broke I hurt my bicep, snapped my bicep a few years ago. So a few things have set me back, and I'm guilty of letting that be an excuse in some ways. But I am here to say that I'm going to start giving the information to you, and I'm going to start helping you, those who want to start creating their own practice and to start seeing some of your, deepest, most exciting goals in relation to your mindfulness and your mobility start to see some improvement and some growth and some confidence. So I will see you guys very soon. Thanks for your feedback. Bye-bye.